What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and today is another edition to the Goon Cinematic Universe. That is, I take a bunch of related videos and smash them together for a hilarious movie for you. And today will be unique because I've never made a type of movie like this before. This is going to be some of the best beefs in fiction. Volume 1. I hope you guys are excited for this. Smash the like button if you haven't already. Let's get this to 300 likes. That'd be amazing. And subscribe if you haven't already. We're close to 20K. And before we get into this and start the movie, I would like to say I'm working on content right now for Doctor Doom, Namor, Black Panther, a bunch of other things, Wakanda Forever. And I have 2 servers with every single appearance, feat, statement, quote, jobber moment, goon moment, you name it, for both Doctor Doom and Namor. If you want to purchase access to both of these, hit me up on Discord. Like I said, it literally has every appearance and feat, statement, everything for both characters ever, period. It's amazing. But anyways, hit me up for that, and I hope you guys enjoy this. Settle on in. I'll have more content for you later today, but this is Best Beefs in Fiction, Volume 1. I hope you enjoy, and let's begin. Alright, so last night I said I was feeling negative, but I actually woke up today feeling amazing. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and do Black Panther vs. Deadpool, one of the wildest beefs I've ever covered. I'm actually recording outside. It's beautiful outside today. And if you like content like this, if you want to see these 2 characters return, I believe they beef a few more times. Smash the like button, 500 likes, and they will return. Also, if you didn't see Pre-Retcon Beyonder vs. the Hood, check that shit out, blood, because it was crazy. But anyways, if you don't get the reference, definitely go watch that video. It's a god tier story. But yeah, this is covering Black Panther vs. Deadpool, literally a crossover event. I hope you guys enjoy this. I'm not going to waste your time anymore. You've been waiting for a long time for this. That Hulk jobbing video will be out later. But yeah, let's get right to it. Without further ado, let's begin. So this story basically starts off with Black Panther exploring what it's like to be king and to take the throne. You see, the throne's changed for Wakanda back in his ancestors' time. And for reference, he is currently King of the Dead in this story, so he does have those powers. Just keep that in mind. His ancestors were isolated. They lived in their own area. They completely were disconnected from the outside world. It was a different ball game. Now, Black Panther, aka T'Challa, has to rule his throne differently because they're worldwide connected now. And then, we see a kind of a hint to the upcoming beef, and it's interesting. It's actually, I think, a little more deeper than you think. By the way, shout out to the art. The art is beautiful in this run. They're kind of shown as 2 sides of the coin, Black Panther and Deadpool, and a lot of that has to do with the difference between them and honor, which is a massive part of their beef, and this shit gets ridiculous. So let's continue. We pan over to T'Challa walking, and he's been asking his mom if he's a great king, and he's going around doing good king shit. Like, he's in the streets, walking around, comforting people. Like, he meets a child that's very emotional, and he comforts them. And overall, just being, a great leader and role model for the community. But of course, this happy, loving moment and this great kingship moment is ruined and interrupted by Deadpool. When he's like, yo, bitches, this is Black Panther versus Deadpool. Like, y'all need to tune into both sides, and my story is legit. And we see that at this current juncture, Deadpool's basically like beefing with Wrecker. Like, there's going to be an upcoming dispute between him and the Wrecker, who is not the most famous villain in Marvel, but he has been around for a while. So this is when we go completely over for a bit to Deadpool's story, right? And he's beefing with the Wrecker. He's pulling up on the Wrecker. They're getting into it. It's an intense chase and fight. he eventually gets, you know, explosives out. And he handles his business. Bodies the wrecker, right? And he gets his enchanted crowbar. Now, the funniest part about this was that Deadpool, when he got that shit, he's like, oh, look, an enchanted crowbar. This definitely won't be a plot fucking device later on in the story, which you'll see it does play into the story. But yeah, he got the drop on the wrecker, was bodying him. But unfortunately, when this occurred, all the explosions happened, he won, but the mailman, the sweet old mailman for the Fantastic Four, was struck by shrapnel and was near death's door. And at this point, Deadpool feels the need to be civically responsible, so this is killing him. He instantly grabs the old man and rushes him to the hospital. By the way, in the live chat down below, predict what leads to the beef between Deadpool and Panther, because I'm sure you don't know by now. It's getting kind of crazy, right? But predict real quick, because it's about to be revealed how the beef starts. Did you predict? W's in the chat if you did. But anyway, let's continue. So Deadpool takes him to the hospital. The hospital's like, yo, this shit's too close to his heart. We really can't save him. And Deadpool's like, dude, I'm civically responsible. There has to be a way you can save him. First of all, this fucking Marvel universe. There's got to be some crazy shit out here you can do. And one of the doctors goes, we could use vibranium therapy. And Deadpool's like, what the fuck is that? And the doctor goes, well, first of all, we can't even do it unless we get a good size portion, I think it was like a bullet size actually, of vibranium. Then we can conduct the hypothetical experiments. And that's Deadpool, like, to her surprise, was like, oh, bet, bitch. Like, I know where there's a fuck ton of vibranium. I'm pulling up on Wakanda. And this is where we see the beef start. First of all, keep in mind, Deadpool might get canceled in my live chat about 4 times throughout this video, but that's okay because it's Deadpool. He breaks into Wakanda instantly. Like, literally, that's fucking crazy because Wakanda's defense is wild. And he gets in there, and the guards bring him in. And when he sees T'Challa, he goes, yo, Hakuna Matata, my boy, what's up? And I was like, bro, you can't say that. But yeah, he said that to, first of all, I don't know. Should we give him a point for that in the beef? I don't know. Let me know in the live chat if he deserves a point for that. But he was like, "Yo, Hakuna Matata, my boy. I need some vibranium." And then these two start going back and forth, right? And Deadpool's like, "Look, bro, I need my vibranium. I got some shit to do. I only need a little piece. That's all I need." And Panther's like, "No, like, screw off. You're a horrible person. Like, I would never help you. You're like, Deadpool, you're a piece of shit." And Deadpool is like, bro, first of all, just admit you're avoiding a classic Marvel team up. And T'Challa's like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. And Deadpool's like, yeah, you do, bitch. This is supposed to be a team up story. And T'Challa's like, stop. You're being crazy. Like, I'm not giving you shit. Get out of here. You are literally a horrible person. And this starts to trigger Deadpool. Deadpool's like, dude, shut up. I'm being civically responsible. I'm here because I'm trying to save the homie. Like, you're being a dick just because of who I was in the past. That's not fair to me, my boy. Like, I'm civically responsible. It's different now. And they get to arguing still. At this point, the argument gets so bad, Deadpool's like, you know what? Fuck it and fuck you. Sparks a brawl. They start brawling immediately. Shuri jumps in, which was kind of whack. Let the boys fight. She kind of jumps in for a little bit of a 2v1. And this star cell energy that they have, this like new tech, blasts Deadpool. So Panther drops him, right? I'm only going to give him half a win because he ran a 2v1. In my opinion, that doesn't really count much for a win. Let me know in the live chat. Do y'all count? How much of a win do y'all count that? I only count it as half a win because it's like, dude, you had the jump to kid. Like, that's not that big of a W. So when Deadpool got blasted, he lost his arm too, right? So he's got one arm at this point. It's not healing back. And he gets into a 1v1 brawl with one arm against Black Panther. It's fair this time. However, he gets shredded. Like, Black Panther beats the shit out of him. Of course, as you know, he just got blasted. So he was kind of off balance anyway going into it. But during this fight, like when the Star Cell mixes with Deadpool's healing factor, Panther's like, yo, you could low-key lead to medical breakthroughs if you were like a good person and did all this shit. And Deadpool was like, bro, stop gaslighting me, you bitch. And they keep fighting, but yeah, he got mauled in this exchange. So at this current juncture on the scoreboard, we have it 1.5 Black Panther to 0.5 Deadpool. Deadpool gets half a win because he broke into Wakanda and he said Hakuna Matata. That was funny as shit. I'm giving him a half a W for that. Half a win to Panther for the 2v1, and then 1 full win for absolutely mauling him. So that's the current score, with Panther up by 1 point. At this point, Deadpool gets teleported, and he ends up in the desert, basically, on the plains. And he sees these illegal poachers, which includes a dying zebra. First of all, he's not the, like, biggest advocate, but he is civically responsible at this point. Keep that in mind. So first of all, he was reading their speech bubbles, which was hilarious, but he pulls up on them, and when they get to aggravating him, remember he doesn't have his arm? He cuts off one of their arms to see if it'd stick on his. So yeah, he definitely styled on them for that, and he also cut the head off the zebra to bring its suffering to an end, and you'll see what else for in a little bit. But yeah, no, this story gets crazier and crazier as we go. Deadpool, after folding the poacher, steals their whip, right? And he's off. He's going back to Wakanda. Fuck that. And at this point, we actually see T'Challa's mom pondering, you know, the Captain Americas of the world and all that, and the fact Captain America and Black Panther have fought throughout the ages. And she fears Deadpool more than she fears Captain America, because Captain America is a man of honor. Deadpool is not. He's out here just living his best life. So to her, that makes him very dangerous, which is interesting. Let me know in the comment section, who scares you more, Captain America or Deadpool? They're both on your ass. Who scares you more? Let me know in the live chat. But anyways, getting back to this, and hit the like button if you haven't already. We see Deadpool is driving there, and he's screaming dramatic music louder and louder as he's approaching Wakanda for the upcoming rematch. Meanwhile, Black Panther's training. His mom's actually there viewing the training, and he's folding the Avengers, actually, like going all out. He's beating everybody in the projected battle, which was pretty crazy, even using a hypothetical attack on Hulk, which he admitted had never been used before, but it should in theory work. But yeah, pretty impressive feat for him. Now, using old forbidden routes into Wakanda, like secret trading routes, Deadpool breaks in, and when he breaks in, he hops into the building right next to like Black Panther and his mom, and he's like, run the fade, bitch, I'm back. And at this point, he's got the zebra's head on his arm, and he's like, yeah, we're running the rematch now. And so keep in mind, Black Panther's mom's there, right? So he's like, God damn, I gotta get my mom out of here. So he starts using projections and dances on Deadpool. He's like, nah, I'm not letting this slide. Gets his mom out of there. He then proceeds to 1v1 Deadpool. Beats the shit out of Deadpool. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. This was a clear beating. Again, he is using a zebra head as his arm. That's kind of hard, but but he got beat up, right? And at this point, T'Challa's like, dude, I'll give you your arm back. Just leave forever, because you're really annoying. Like, I don't want you in my country. I'm not gonna help you. You're lucky I'm letting you leave, but you're gonna leave with your arm and just go home. I'm tired of this. So at this point in the story, I mean, that beating was so clear. In my opinion, the score is 2.5 to half a point for Deadpool. So Panther's up 2 on the score right now. Predict down below who you think will win by the end of the story, because this is a crazy scoreboard you're about to see. So at this point, Deadpool is still arguing that he doesn't want to leave. He's getting his arm, all that, but he doesn't want to leave forever. He's still determined, and he actually shouts out Wakandan Halloween like in the middle of their argument after what he called their narrative big fight, which was hilarious. And he also called this part of the narrative as well. He's like, yo, I love how we're progressing on the narrative of the story and hitting all our narrative points. And that pissed off Panther. So at this point, we also see Jack-O-Lantern is going to be pulling up, which is another kind of obscure villain in Marvel. So again, because of how funny he was and the fact he predicted the narrative and called it and pissed off Panther with that, I'm going to give half a win to Deadpool. So the score is 2.5 to 1 going into issue 3 of 5 of this story. So we're actually a little over halfway through. Smash the like button. So at this point, we get a little backdrop on what's driving Jack-O-Lantern to do what he's doing, right? Like, why is he being a dick? Well, we see it's mostly because he doesn't feel anything. Like, he's socially dead on the inside. Just emotions aren't there, but he wants to feel something. Now, the problem with this, he hates Deadpool because Deadpool lives his best life. He just lives, where Lantern feels dead. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to pull up on Deadpool and fold him. So at this point, a fire is reported in Wakanda, and Panther's like, oh shit, we got to get there. Hots in the jet. Deadpool goes too, because he's not going to let Deadpool leave his sights. They get there, they drop in, house is burned down. They're comforting the families. Panther's like, dude, what happens? And then at this this was funny. Yo, F in the live chat for Deadpool. So Deadpool's talking to Panther while he's comforting a kid. He's like, bro, yo, why does Wakanda, like, I thought you said this wasn't any kind of, like, weird farm. Why is there a scarecrow? The scarecrow was Jack-O-Lantern. And Jack-O-Lantern rocks Deadpool with explosives, right? He just absolutely rocks him. And then we see Deadpool square up and be like, all right, Panther, we ain't going out like this. Let's get his ass. In the 2v1 ensues with Panther and Deadpool taking down Jack-O-Lantern. Now, when they do, we see, again, there was a child there, right? So Panther's like, yo, we got to comfort the child, the family, all that. We got to make sure they're good. So he goes to comfort the child, right? Like, he even takes his mask off, and he's like presenting himself in a more humane way to the child to calm them. And at this point, he's like, Deadpool, you just watch Jack-O-Lantern. We already got him incapacitated. You just keep an eye on him, all right? And later, we will take him on the copter with us, and we'll handle his arrest and all that. So while Deadpool's watching him, Deadpool dome shots him, kills Jack-O-Lantern in front of the child, like traumatizes the child. Panther freaks out. He's like, bro, I told you to watch him. He's like, dude, I took care of him. Like, I got rid of him. Would you have rather taken him on the airplane with that child? Like, do you think that was safe? Which, in my opinion, was pretty funny. And then at this point, Panther's pissed, right? He's like, you know what, Deadpool? Let's go at it. They get into it. They really fight. He's like, I'm sick of your shit, Deadpool. I'm going to punish you for this. And then it's kind of implied that, like, Panther also has an advantage in this fight because he knows he won't kill Deadpool. So he can fight a little crazier and hurt him. This leads to him beheading Deadpool. That's right. Deadpool got beheaded. So the score is 3.5 for Panther to just 1 for Deadpool. In favor of Panther going into issue 4. Again, in the comment section down below and in the live chat, let me know who you think is going to win. So now we see, like, Panther's flying around and flying back, and he has Deadpool's head with him. Deadpool is talking shit regardless of him just having his head, right? He's just doing his best to ignore Panther, say some shit to get on his nerves, and he's cracking mad puns just trying to get Panther to laugh. He also calls out Black Panther for being redundant, and he was kind of shook when he finds out that Deadpool actually has fourth wall breaking ability. He's actually consulted the author before, Coates, just to see about like American culture and all that. So that was hilarious. Deadpool was like, oh shit, he knows some fourth wall shit too. And so this leads to them going back to Panther's palace and in his lab where he's going to work on Deadpool, right? All right, now live chat, get ready to turn up because the energy is changing for Deadpool, right? He's getting shit talked to him by Panther. Panther's got his body there and his head separated. And Deadpool goes, yo, I might be a dead man, or I might not be a dead man because you can't kill me, right? But I got a dead man switch, you dumb bitch. And he blows up the area. Absolutely rocks Panther. I'm talking about this shit was crazy. And he pulls off the rob him. He's like, yo, I'm making a play. You were hating on the kid. I'm gonna make the score. Like, I'm gonna rob you anyway, you fucking bitch. And he rocks Deadpool, Panther, puts him down, and gets out of there. Score has changed, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 3.5 to 2 in favor of Black Panther. Then we see Deadpool and Black Panther get into it again. Like, obviously, they were gonna fight again because, like, at this point, shit's getting crazy and Deadpool's literally trying to rob him. Deadpool concedes. He's like, man, with tech and prep, you're above me. I can't beat Panther when you're teching and you're prepping. Shit, it is what it is. But guess what? I'm going down swinging, bitch. And start scrapping with him. The fight's interrupted when Deadpool is teleported. And when he's teleported, he accidentally ends up in Panther's technology secret cave, which is half a W because shit's about to get treacherous. So 3.5 to 2.5 in favor of Black Panther currently. We see in the tech cave, like, don't let that boy Deadpool in. Like, he's gonna make some plays. We see when he gets in, there's some serious technology in there, including new suits. Deadpool steals the new tech suit, the new Tech Panther suit, and calls himself Pantherpool. And when Black Panther arrives down there, we see like Pantherpool square up with him, and he's like, "Yo, what up, twin?" And they start scrapping. Like, the brawl is about to get real, and Deadpool's like, "Yo, you was talking mad shit when you had the tech advantage, but look now, like, this shit's about to be real interesting." Deadpool, in the middle of the fight, gets teleported again. And when he gets teleported, he ends up in the epicenter of vibranium. Now, let me tell you what this means. This is literally a mountain full of vibranium located in Wakanda. This is their source. All their vibranium's here, right? And Deadpool's looking around, and he feels the crowbar. It's the crowbar starting to interfere with what's going on around him, and he's like, oh shit. He's like, damn, it's crazy when you see the plot going in your favor, and everything starts to vanish. And predict what happens down below. What do you think's about to happen? Let me know in the comment section, because this is crazy. But yeah, at this point, you're about to see one of the greatest chain snatches in history occur. W's in the live chat. This is 3.5 to 3.5. Tied up. Going towards the end of this run. It's getting crazy now. Make sure to smash the like button. We then see Deadpool was confirmed to have stolen the whole damn mountain. Deadpool literally chain snatched all of the vibranium. And he took it to America, in particular, I think it was Jersey. That's right. This man took an entire mountain of vibranium on accident when he only need like a bullet amount, and he took it all. He took it all because the beef got too real. And this is when we see Panther pull up, right? Panther's like, yo, I gotta get our shit back because that's literally like all our country's shit. We need it back. We see Pantherpool, aka Deadpool, has a sombrero on the side of the road in Jersey, and he's literally offering to sell vibranium. Panther, obviously isn't going for that shit, and he drops in on Panther Pool, and he's like, yo, cut this shit out, dog. You literally stole everything. And Panther's like, bro, get out my face. So it's like Panther Pool versus Black Panther right now. It's getting confusing. I'll go back to just Deadpool. But yeah, he's still in the suit at this point. We then see this exchange go on, and Deadpool basically snaps, and he's like, yo, Panther, let me also tell you this. In the movies, you stole my gang sign. And he throws up the Wakanda Forever. He's like, I was doing this shit before y'all were doing that, and you stole that. Like, why are you stealing my drip? He then rocks the shit out of Panther. And we see Panther call in Shuri to help him. And the help will come in the form of hacking and shutting down the suit of Panther Pool. That's right. This new suit, unfortunately, had some heavy tech built into it. And as a result, it allowed Shuri to hack it, right? We see Deadpool, and rightfully so, basically tells Black Panther he's a bitch. He's like, yo, you are a bitch for getting Shuri involved again and for hacking. And he's like, this is America, bro. You're in America now, and I'm not going out like a hoe. After Panther declares, literally, like as a damn king, he declares war upon Deadpool himself, which I find to be hilarious. Like, the fact he got him to literally declare war on him is wild. As they fight, we see Panther accesses the spirit of a burial they are fighting on. And this is a big deal because, of course, Black Panther has the King of the Dead powers, right? This is where we see them get supposedly sent to the land of the dead, where Panther forces Deadpool to fight what appears to be the dead soul of Wade Wilson. Deadpool at this point, though, he's like, I ain't no bitch. I'm fighting regardless, and actually does fight back. We see this, of course, was a simulation, right? This was a simulation similar to the one Black Panther ran back in the back when he was fighting all those Avengers, and Deadpool manages to defeat the simulation. But then he's like, bro, I don't want to fight anymore. Like, I was just trying to be civilly responsible. You kept being a dick this whole time. You kept calling me the bad guy. Screw you, bro. Like, I just don't want to do this shit anymore. Like, you're a jackass, Panther. You're not that good of a guy as you think. But in the end, as we kind of wrap up this beef, Deadpool, in my opinion, wins. And you'll see why. So, he gets T'Challa to help him save the mailman with the vibranium. And during this, we see him do something that hasn't been done yet. After saving the mailman, Deadpool's like, yo, Black Panther, what do the Avengers decorate their party with? An 8-foot banner. And T'Challa, unfortunately for T'Challa fans, cracked up at the joke. That shit made him laugh. And Deadpool was like, yo, I made your bitch ass laugh. Deadpool wins and declared himself the winner, and I agree. He had one of the most incredible comebacks, way down, and came back to win 4.5 to 3.5. In the end, I believe Deadpool won the beef. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the story, let me know in the comment section down below. I had a blast reading it and recording it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and if you want to see your favorite character, make sure... So I put out a poll for what should my next video be for today. It was between Celestial Goon video and Spider-Man vs. Green Goblin, the beef from Ultimates Marvel Comics. By a pretty wide margin, the beef won. So we're doing that first today. If you guys are a fan of the beef series and love dope comic storylines and rivalries, make sure to run the likes up and subscribe for content like this in the future, as well as if you want to see your favorite content on this channel or my second channel, Coffee Shop Comics, hit me up on Discord to talk about getting videos, as well as join my server. We're over 650 deep now, and it's growing larger by the day. But anyways, getting back to this, like I said, this is not 616. This is Ultimates, and in my opinion, It's one of my favorite Spider-Man stories ever, period. And I'm excited to cover this beef. So, first of all, if you don't know what Ultimates is, it is an alternative to 616. There's some differences, but some similarities. One of the similarities, Green Goblin fucking hates Spider-Man. The beef is real, right? And we're going to start this beef off really with kind of outlining the climax to the beef, because that's the major part to it, and the story part we're going to talk about today. And at the start, we see Green Goblin and several other villains locked up in S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters, right? And he's going back and forth with Carol Danvers, right? And she's talking crazy. He's talking spicy back. And he's eventually like, you know what, bitch? I don't even have to stay here if I don't want to. And he starts transforming into a massive monster-like being, of course, resembling a massive goblin, and using his pyrokinetic abilities as well as his super strength, he breaks out of his container, as well as freeing the other villains, who of course are like, yo, let's just dip out of here before shit gets real, because of course Code Red's called. He's like, hell yeah, let's break out. So they all dip out. It's several of Spider-Man's rogues, right? Including the likes of Vulture, Kraven, Doc Ock, Electro, all of them, right? Sinister Six type vibes. They escape, and eventually first of all, something about Goblin that makes him crazy in this beef is he has like this developed God complex, where he believes he does the work of God. He's basically becoming a god, and God wants him to do shit and send him messages, right? Like, so it gets pretty intense on the psychotic side for the likes of Goblin in this story. And he basically tells everyone, he's like, look, I've hated Spider-Man for so fucking long. I got the location on him. We're gonna get the drop on the boy. Like, we're just gonna handle that. And Doc Ock is like, yo, you're kind of tripping. That's a kid. Don't really need to beef with him. Let's just break out and go get our money, right? Like, do our thing and just vibe out. And he's like, yo, you're not going to disrespect. So they go back and forth, and we'll resume this later. But let's go over to Peter Parker and talk about what he's doing. So it's controversial whether or not he's Avengers worthy or superhero team worthy, because he fights like a kid, right? According to Captain America, he doesn't fight like a soldier with a lot on a line, right? So Cap's like, yo, Spider-Man, I'm going to take you on a tour, and I'm going to teach you how to be a proper soldier so that you're truly useful to the team. Spider-Man's like, all right, whatever, bitch. You're kind of hating, but I'll go with it. So they start tagging along and hanging out, right? Eventually, Captain America gets a call. With receiving the call that Fury's like hit team's gone rogue, Cap has to go bust a move, right? He's got to go downtown, handle this shit. Of course, he doesn't want Spider-Man to follow him, but Spider-Man's following him anyway. And he's like, yo, be honest, Cap. Like, what can you do to stop me from following you? Like, let's keep it a band. Like, don't be dumb. So he's right away gonna be able to go after him. So he does anyway. Cap's like, you know what? Fuck it. You can follow. Spider-Man does. And eventually, Spider-Man, when he catches up to Cap and everything that's going on, he sees Cap. First of all, sticky situation has Nick Fury down on the ground, right? Like, has him dead to rights. But Spider-Man sees Punisher getting ready to take the shot. And he's like, fuck, I can't let Punisher shoot Captain America. He doesn't know. And so Spider-Man goes to web Punisher and misses. So he's forced to sling down. And he saves Captain America, pushing him out of the way. But the problem is, Spider-Man gets shot and wakes up in a pool of blood and is like, fuck, this is really bad. I should probably see a hospital. But I don't have time right now. So he webs up his bullet wound. And at this point, he has the news, right? That the Sinister Six, essentially, as well as Green Goblin, they're out and they're looking for him. They have his information. There's no doubt what the goal is. And we're going to pan back over to Goblin's situation. He was going back and forth with Doc Ock, right? And Doc Ock's like, look, I'm not going to beef with the kid. I'm not going to go pull up on him because we have his info and kill him. That's fucking dumb. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm just going to dip. Take my L's and dip. They literally get into a physical altercation. It escalates with them all-out fighting, and eventually we see Green Goblin transform into his massive goblin form and kill Doc Ock. That's right. Green Goblin actually murders Doc Ock because he was tripping and wasn't gang anymore. You could say what you want about this Green Goblin. He's fucking crazy and he's about that gang shit. You try to leave the gang, you're in trouble. So he straight up kills Doc Ock, who could not hold off the combination of the superpowered strength, size, and pyrokinetic ability. So at this point, the rest of the groups are like, alright, we're gonna go pull up with you and we'll catch this body. It's all good. Let's do it. So now they're dead set on pulling up on Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, and catching the body. At this point, we're gonna pan over back to Spider-Man, right? What's he doing in this beef right now? He's going along trying to, first of all, maintain himself because he had to web up a bullet wound and doesn't have time to rest or go heal it. He's actually gonna have to fight, so that's fucked. And he has the problem with Mary Jane and the likes of Gwen being at the crib, right? He calls him, he's like, yo, y'all gotta understand. The bad guys literally have my address, know who I am. I need y'all to pack your shit, let's go. And he tells him, he's like, yo, Claps, get your shit, let's go. They get everything and they roll out, and he doesn't go with them. He's like, just get as far away as possible, but I gotta stay here and handle this shit. Now, here's the thing. At this point in Ultimates, Bobby Drake and Johnny Storm, a.k.a. Iceman and Human Torch, they actually are staying out with Peter, right? And they're like, yeah, we see they're going to try to roll deep on you. Let's get into it, right? So they've agreed to pull up with him and help him out because he's like, look, dog, I'm not at 100%. This is kind of fucked, but we got to brawl. This is true bloody beef. Because, of course, Goblin blames Peter and Spider-Man in part for the way he is and like him, his son dying and losing his son, all that. He is crazy, doesn't properly blame himself, and blames everyone else except him. It's fucked. So he's on this jihad to kill Spider-Man. This is true Spider-Man beef. Smash the like button if you appreciate a true Spider-Man beef. And Spider-Man tells everyone, he's like, yo, real shit, all the Ultimates are coming, like the cops are here, y'all don't want no smoke, like you guys should just surrender before I fuck y'all up. Kraven looks at him and goes, yo, fellas, he's bluffing, look how fucked up this kid is, like there's no way he really is gonna make us believe this is legitimate. So he's like, fuck, he's gotta brawl. Human Torch, Ice, and Iceman do pull up, and they pull up on Goblin and whatnot, but the Sinister Six are enough to take down Iceman and Human Torch throughout the fight. They're just, I mean, obviously 616, I'd expect a lot more from the two, but they kind of job here. I ain't even going to hold y'all. F in the live chat for Human Torch and Iceman and Ultimates. They were fucking jobbing at this point. And Spider-Man's going back and forth. Eventually, he gets into a 1v1 with Goblin. It's not looking too good for him as Goblin's like, yo, God has sent me here to fuck you up. And Spider-Man's like, yo, it's not my fault. You're a shitty father. They're going back and forth. It's brutal. Because at this point, Spider-Man, like, he knows this is truly life or death. And at one point, we see like Aunt May and them get calls like, yo, I think your boy Peter Parker is Spider-Man because he's out here fighting the Sinister Six, a bunch of bad guys, and I think they're killing him. And you see Spider-Man getting dragged, and then he gets into the 1v1. Eventually, this gets more serious and serious as, like I said, it devolves into a 1v1 with Spider-Man basically being on low health. And even Mary Jane at one point smashes a truck into the Goblin. And Spider-Man gets her out of there. And he's like, yo, that was fucking clutch, saving me right there. But you gotta get away. Because this man, he's beyond the normal bad guy shit. This is truly gonna be only one of us is walking away. So she gets out of there. He goes back to the 1v1. And he kind of looks at Goblin. He's like, yo, is this really it? Like, this is what it comes down to? And Goblin's like, I'm sent here from God to kill you. I'm going to kill everyone you love. Fuck you, Peter Parker. It's real, right? So Peter comes forward. They start brawling. This shit is getting violent. Peter Parker at this point's already been injured. He's been hit by like grenades from vultures, been thrown around from the others. It's just bad. But eventually, he gets Goblin down. He's smashing objects on top of him. And eventually, he puts him down. Despite being so low on health, it did took all he had in him, though. And as he was laying on the ground with people surrounding him desperately, trying to help him stay alive, and Aunt May came to him, telling people to get him help, medic, make sure he's okay. He said, it's all right. You don't understand, Aunt May. And by the way, this is by far the realest Spider-Man moment I've ever seen. He looked at her and said, everything's good, Aunt May. You see, I couldn't save him. And he started crying. He was like, I couldn't save Uncle Ben, but I saved you. And that's when Spider-Man died. He died fading his op, fading his most hated villain in order to save his people, clutched the W, and died doing so. One of the most beautiful endings and beautifully scripted endings to a beef ever. You could argue both lost because both got put down, but this was a powerful moment in comics, and to me, in my opinion, was one of the realest beefs, as it really was life or death, was Goblin just taking it too far. Anyways, what do you guys think of this story? Did you guys enjoy this? Let me know in the comment section down below. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and join my Discord server. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I will see y'all later. Peace. Hello, beautiful people. Apologies in advance if you hear any background noise, although obviously I'll have music playing, so I doubt you will. But I'm outside with it today because it's beautiful outside, and it's a vibe when I get to record outside. So, that's why I love the summer, man. Now, getting into this, it's a happy Easter to those that celebrate. And if you don't celebrate, have a wonderful Sunday and watch this video anyway. And run the likes up, by the way. 400 likes, I'll do another one like this. So, just simply put, I want to do a video today. Marvel Humans drops tomorrow. I want to do a video that's fun, right? Like, just a funny-ass video. And something that's iconic, right? Like, just something that could be an iconic part of the channel. And to me, this beef has been spoken about several times on my channel. It's one of the funniest comics to ever be written. And I just think we have to add it to the beef series. It's perfect. And one of the characters in it is a Hall of Famer on my channel. So, let's get into it. This is the beef video between Luke Cage and Dr. Doom. Sit back, relax. I hope you guys enjoy my narration. And without further ado, let's begin. So, what is this story? This is a throwback story back in Marvel when they couldn't get canceled, right? They could post whatever the hell they wanted to. And this was in Power Man, which obviously is Luke Cage's old name. And I probably read this story like 20 times. It's one of the greatest things ever. So, Luke Cage, if you didn't know, is someone you can hire in New York, right? He's someone you can trust to get the job done. Why? He has unbreakable skin and super strength. Obviously, not too many people are fading him. So, he gets approached, right? And he's told, yo, there's a guy who wants to hire you. He's going to pay you like $200. he needs you to go get his boys. And he's like, all right, like that's cool, I guess. Like, well, like, what's going on? So shit gets weird, right? Like, so he goes in to get them, and when he's getting these people, they turn out to be robots. Like, he's fighting robots. He's like, what the? Like, so Luke is brawling with robots, but he's like, all right, whatever. Like, that shit's weird. I don't know why this is going on. Goes back. He finds out, right, that these were Doom bots. So what happened was, these Doom bots left Latveria, and they came to America, went to the hood, and turned themselves black. Doom's not black. Most of his bots aren't black. His civilians aren't black. So he can't just send them there to get them back, right? Like, they'll stand out in the hood. That's why he hired Luke. W's in the live chat for Doom not caring about getting canceled, bro. Yeah, oh god, this was just glorious. And smash the like button if you haven't already. So Luke handles this anyway, you know, despite having to fight bots and shit. And he goes back to get his money. He goes to the hotel, which is supposed to be the meeting place, to get his money, right? And when he gets there, the dude behind the counter is like, yo, are you Luke Cage? Luke, yeah. Like, yeah, what's up, dog? Like, what's good? And the dude's like, yo, I have a message from Doom. He said good looks on handling his bots, but he's not gonna pay you, my guy. Like, Doom said you can kiss his ass. He's out. And Luke is like, bro, what? I'm not going out like this. So Luke's pissed at this point, right? He just got duped $200 to go brawl with robots in the hood. All right, that's a horrible afternoon. So he's like, I need to get back at this bitch right now. I need to go get Dr. Doom. Now let me tell you guys why this is complicated and makes this so much funnier in context. Doom is the ruler of his own country. Luke wanting to pull up on him is literally an international crisis, and to some, especially because he's a metahuman, that's a declaration of war. So you can't just go around doing that, right? Keep that in mind, because that's funny as shit. So Luke is like, I need a way to get to Latveria. I'm from the streets. I don't really have any crazy vehicles, but he figures it out. He's like, I'm gonna go to the Baxter Building, home of the Fantastic Four. So Luke pulls up on the Fantastic Four, and he's like, I need a whip. I'm getting a whip, and I'm going to Latveria. And the Fantastic Four is like, dude, you can't just run up in here and like try to get a vehicle to go beef with somebody. We're not gonna let you do that. And Luke's like, bro, I'm taking a vehicle to Latveria, whether you like it or not. And this starts a brawl. This boy Luke, let me tell you guys, motivated Luke Cage is a mythical fighter. Like, we just unlocked him in this story. So he puts in work against the Fantastic Four. This is the same thing that knocked out Silver Surfer with one punch and brawled with Hulk, right? Luke Cage is brawling with all of them. Eventually, Fantastic Four is like, yo, we need to calm down. And he's like, all right, Luke, just take the damn plane, bring it back. Please, please don't be crazy. And he's like, all right, bet. And he dips, right? So he takes the plane and he's, oh my god, it's a great story. He takes off and he goes to Latveria. When Luke gets there, this shit is not that simple. Luke arrives in Latveria. Obviously, this is a country that's very locked down and secure because Victor Von Doom's the ruler. Obviously, a tier 4 goon. And so Luke meets a rebellion faction, right? And they're like, yo, we're trying to get back at Doom and start a rebellion in the country. And Luke's like, yo, funny enough, he owes me $200. So let's fucking do this. So he joins a rebellion. W's in the comment section for Luke doing whatever it takes to get his fucking money, dog. So he joins the rebellion and manages to get to the castle of Doom, right? And when eventually he's in there and he's trying to get to the throne room, Doom's like, yeah, let him up. Let him come through. So Luke arrives at Dr. Doom's room, right? And Doom gets up and he's like, yo, my guy, here's the funny part, right? He's like, when I heard there was a black guy in Latveria wilding out for respect, Doom was like, I knew it had to be Luke Cage. And Luke's like, where's my money, honey? And that's one of the greatest lines ever, by the way. So at this point, and you know, by the way, let me know in the live chat if you think Doom should get canceled for how he's approaching this subject. But he goes, but here's the thing, bro. You might have come here and done all that wild shit, but I'm not giving you your money. I'm Dr. Doom. And Luke's like, alright then, I guess I'm gonna have to beat it out of you, bitch. And swings and proceeds to start a brawl. Now, everybody, if you have the chance to stand up right now and watch this hype shit, do so. But if it looks weird because you got people around you, don't do that shit because you'll get judged. But getting back to this, Doom and Cage are brawling, right? And Doom's giving a speech. Doom's like, bro. And Doom's saying shit me and you would probably think of, right? He's like, dog, I've fought the Fantastic Four. I've stolen cosmic powers. I bullied Silver Surfer and put him on notice as a jobber. He's like, I've done a whole bunch of crazy shit. And Luke was like, but have you fought Luke Cage? And Doom's like, what? And like I said, motivated Luke Cage is a mythical fighter. So he starts throwing bungalows at Doom and just ignoring whatever Doom's throwing at him. He's like, oh, I have unbreakable skin. This shit don't matter, cuz. And he's just swinging on Doom. This brawl proceeds until eventually Dr. Doom's like, all right, bro. Like, relax. For whatever reason, I can't beat the shit out of you today. Riders must love you. He's like, just take your money and get out. Tell me why obviously Doom's a fucking billionaire. He has the money. He has $200. He gives it to Luke, and Luke was like, all right, cool, and dips. He joined a rebellion and dips once he gets his 200, and was just like acted like it was cool and just leaves. I was like, what? So then he gets on his plane. He goes back to New York, and then he drops it off at the Baxter building. And when he does that, he gets confronted, obviously, by the Fantastic Four. And they're like, yo, Luke, we've watched the news. We've seen, like, there's some black dude in Latveria, and he was doing crazy shit. Like, we don't want to be those guys, but obviously it was you. And they're like, yo, what happened? And Luke just kind of looks at them, and he's like, I already dropped the plane off. I'm not gonna snitch though. Peace, bitches. And he's just out. Luke's like, I'm not saying shit, dog. You can't prove a thing. And dips and brings it into one of the greatest stories ever written in comics, back when they truly didn't care if they were gonna get canceled. Shout out to old Marvel Comics for having wild ass stories. But anyways, guys, that's it for the beef. Obviously, in my opinion, Luke Cage won this beef. He was just amazing throughout this run, and I thought he was absolutely hilarious, and this is a fantastic comic. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see your favorite videos on the channel, either comment them down below, or you can actually just purchase them to get shown. And if you want to do so, join my free Discord and then add me to talk about it. But thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I'll see y'all later. Peace. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jobbers and Goons, and today we have a video involving Deadpool, Gambit, and a whole bunch of other characters. It's a wild beef. It's gonna be called Deadpool versus Gambit the Beef because that's the title of the run, but it's it's a lot more complicated than that. It's a hilarious story. It's actually one of the more fun stories I've read, so I'm definitely going to enjoy this one. If you like the beef videos or any of my content, smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already, as well as turn on the notification bell so you see all my content, because I post quite often, and I try to do so at least every other day, but mostly daily, unless something pops up. And on the coffee shop, I've been uploading more frequently recently, and I'll be doing stuff called blitz battles, which are basically shorter versions of versus battles, so like 5 to 8 minutes. That way I can get a bunch of battles out on that channel quite often. And if you want to see your favorite video either here or on the coffee shop, use the code Carnage to purchase. It's only $30 a video if you use that code. Blitz battles are only $20 because they're shorter videos. So if you want a blitz battle, just say it's a blitz battle. But anyways, guys, getting back to this is Deadpool versus Gambit. I hope you guys enjoy. Without further ado, let's begin. So this story starts out with Deadpool and Gambit. Deadpool obviously being the merc with a mouth and paws, and Gambit being the smooth talking X-Men, right? So they see each other in line. They're like, yo, Deadpool, Gambit, what up? And they're about to beef, and they're like, wait, why aren't we cool? Like, what happened? Why are we about to square up? Because both of them are kind of airheaded, and they're like, they start flashing back to the reason they're squaring up, like what went wrong. So they had done this heist before, right? Both are con men and mercenaries. And this heist was put on to them by this guy named Chalmers, who is a very important character throughout this story, and you'll see why later. So Chalmers hires them to pull this elaborate con. What happens is Deadpool and Gambit both dress up as Daredevil and Spider-Man, and they start fighting throughout the cities. And they're saying stupid shit. They're like, yo, Daredevil, I'm mad at you, and they start swinging on each other. But what they're secretly doing, and it's a hilarious fight. I mean, you see at one point they pop in at like this theater, and this kid's like, yo, can y'all stop fighting, basically? But he's talking like Shakespeare terms, and I'm like, dude, shut up, write a play about it. But they keep fighting, and eventually they stop, they get away. And you even see the real Spider-Man and Daredevil will be like, dude, what's going on? Why are they saying we're fighting across the city? We're literally not. But getting back to this, it turns out they were hitting multiple diamond spots to rob places while they were fighting. They're basically hiding the thievery with the fights. And they get back, right? They're going over like how to split the profits. And Gambit's like, yo, we should do cons more. And Deadpool's like, why don't we do cons anymore? And this is what we would call the first time they beef, right? They don't beef a lot in this comic because there's a lot more people involved, but they beef here, straight up. And both of them suspect each other of an upcoming double cross. So Gambit rocks Deadpool with some of his powers. Now, if you don't know, Gambit can kinetically charge objects and throw it at people, right? So he blasts Deadpool, gets away, starts running. Deadpool runs out, he's pissed. They keep fighting throughout the city, and Gambit's laying him out. I mean, he's grabbing pebbles, blowing up Deadpool with them. It's horrible. Like, anytime Gambit has access to a bunch of objects, he can body you. Like, he can throw a whole lot of shit at you. So Deadpool's getting folded by this, right? And what was funny is this kid that was from the play pops up again. He's like, yo, what are y'all doing? They're like, dude, aren't you done with practice by now? And he's like, I'm waiting for my mom. And he's like, wait, how do y'all know me? And that boy Deadpool's like, oh shit, like, we saw you during the heist, never mind. And they keep fighting. Eventually they realized that boy Chalmers had run off with all the loot. They didn't actually double cross each other. Deadpool was like, nah, matter of fact, because Gambit was like, dude, I thought you had like a pistol glued under the table. Deadpool's like, dude, if I had a pistol waiting for you for a double cross, it'd be on my chair. So he did have one, but it wasn't where Gambit thought it was. They realized Chalmers set them up and took everything. So they both got hustled, right? And as they're talking in line, they're like, yo. It flashes back to the present, and they're like, yo. By the way, for that version of the beef, Gambit won. So 1-0 between them. And they're like, yo, if we ever see this boy again, we gotta pop him, right? That's when Chalmers pops up and is like, yo, come get coffee with the boy. Chalmers is gangster about that shit. W in the live chat for Chalmers. He's pretty gangster. So Chalmers goes to get coffee with them, right? And he's this confident, old businessman. And he's like, look, no, I did you dirty on the last con, but relax. I have a new come up for us that is amazing. And honestly, no matter how mad you are at me, you're not going to be able to pass it up. So at this point, he gives them briefcases. It's got a shit ton of cash. Deadpool and Gambit are like, oh, okay, yeah, we're interested. Clearly, you're making up for last time. He's like, look, if you run this one last heist with me, you'll get 2 more briefcases just like that. They're like, sold, baby, what's the play? And he's like, all right. And he pulls out this big board. He's like, you got this one target, Wang Lei or whatever, Fei Pei, whatever the hell his name was. It was a made-up name. It's not who he is, but you'll see who it is later. He's like, this is and they call him the whale. He's like eating through Crescent City, right? Just going crazy, constantly drunk. He has a priceless relic that they are to steal. Another aspect of this mission, they got to get his fingerprints too. Basically, they're going to go party with him, go undercover, get the dragon's tongue, which is the relic, get it back, right? And they got to get his fingerprints, all that. So at this point, Gambit's like, here's the problem, right? Deadpool's ugly as shit, so how are we going to get him in there? And Deadpool's like, dude, first of all, don't roast me, but relax. I have a device that basically changes my face. I'll blend in. So he changes his face, and he's like, yo, don't I look like Steve Zahn? I'm going to put a picture up on Steve Zahn live chat. Let me know if that boy Deadpool was right. But anyways, they go to the casino, right, to hang out with Lei, who is the businessman. And when they get there, they start partying, drinking all this shit. And they're like, yo, do you notice he's had like 20 drinks and nothing's happened to him? And Deadpool's like, dude, relax. I have a healing factor. I can drink with anybody. There's no way this human's going to outdrink me. He's like, let's just party with him and be cool, right? At one point, we see he, in particular, the businessman likes Deadpool, so he's hanging out with him more, right? And we see at one point Gambit getting questioned, and the dude's like, don't I know you from somewhere? And he's like, nah, I'm Neo. I've never met you. And that dude's like, you're Neo, like from the Matrix? And he's like, I've never seen the Matrix. And he's like, oh, skip the sequels, that shit sucks. And I was like, damn, y'all gonna call it the Matrix like that? But getting back to this, that's when we realized they're not just at dinner or a casino, they're actually at a fight club. And we see during a fight between 2 individuals, one being the guy that just questioned Gambit, the businessman jumps down there and is like, yo, this is pretty dope. Like, I'd like to participate. Runs up and starts scrapping with them. And he's like, dude, I will fight anybody in here, any of the people y'all think is a tough guy. And that's when several people start rushing the businessman, and he's getting to work, right? Deadpool, Gambit jump down. They're like, oh shit, we gotta get him out of here. Like, this shit's bad. And we see that casually, even when like Deadpool's getting thrown around, this businessman is casually taking everybody out. Like, he's beating up everybody, and he's like, I'll fight everybody in here. I'll put all my money on me. And they start brawling with everybody. And literally, they clear the room. Like, this shit was crazy. And they end up, the businessman, Deadpool, and Gambit end up getting out of there perfectly healthy thanks to their clutch fighting in the trenches, right? So they continue on to the night, trying to go on with their hustle. At this point, they had gotten Dr. Voodoo involved in the act. They had him conjure up one of the best bands ever in like the last 100 years spiritually. We see he gave them magic, basically roofies, to put in the alcohol of Lang Pei's drink or whatever, right? And when they did, they're like, all right, that magic stuff should have knocked him out. Let's go get him. They realize he slipped away. He tanked it. So they're like, dude, at this point, like, I don't know what we're dealing with. Like, this shit's getting kind of crazy. And he's like, yo, Voodoo. Deadpool looks at Voodoo. He's like, you Harry Potter types always fumble the bag. And he's like, Harry Potter type? And that's when Gambit's like, dude, chill. And he's like, yo, Voodoo, you think you can send me back to the place? And he's like, sure. Sends him back. And then Deadpool's like, yo, do you think you could send me to where I need to be? And Voodoo's like, no, you just called me Harry Potter. Fuck you. And then Deadpool's like, all right, what's an apology and $300 get me? He ends up getting a bike from Dr. Voodoo, just a regular ass little bike. And Deadpool pedals off to try to track down Chalmers to make sure they don't get double crossed, right? Deadpool gets the drop on Chalmers and is about to surprise him as we see Chalmers going, okay, I got all 5 fingerprints. Time to make the play. As soon as Deadpool's about to pop in, he gets jumped by a bunch of ninjas, right? Including one ninja lady that has him by the throat. And he's like, yo, Chalmers, what up? And he's like, Chalmers, are you magic or something? How'd you know I'd be here to protect you from these ninjas? And he's like, I didn't know you'd be here. He was like, I was trying to run off on you and them. I didn't know either of you'd be here, but at least you're here to try to save me, right? And so he's like, oh shit, this is crazy. The ninjas take Chalmers hostage. They're like, yo, where's the artifact? And that's when we see Chalmers basically tell them like, yo, I know what the artifact is. It grants the user a life that I particularly want, and that's why I stole it. And he gives up the artifact. However, when he gave up the artifact and they dip, turns out Deadpool used the image user on the artifact. They still have it. So Deadpool actually finessed the ninjas, which was very surprising. So then Chalmers is like, look, I want to pay y'all back. You're clutch. Y'all clutched it for me. Deadpool's sick of that shit, right? He's like, you know what? You almost killed me. I'm taking your ass to the warehouse or the safe house, and we're going to get your money, right? So he grabs Chalmers, takes him to the safe house, and drops him off there. He's sitting in there, and he's like, yo, we're going to wait on Gambit, but we're going to get this money. Everything will be good, all that. And, you know, I don't want anything to do with you after this. We'll go our separate ways. Then he realizes Chalmers is gone. He dipped, right? And that's when we see the door open. And Deadpool's like, yo, finally, Gambit, you're here. And we see the businessman walk in, and he goes, not quite. Deadpool goes, look, we stole your relic. I know that's what makes you like magical and shit, gives you life, all that. But he's like, we stole that shit. You don't have it anymore. So you don't want to fight me. I'm Deadpool. You're just a dude. Trust me. You don't want the smoke. The dude goes, you stupid bitch. I'm Fat Cobra. I'm not just a businessman. He's like, I've beaten an army of werewolves. I've bested like hundreds of warriors at the same time. I've defeated the Iron Fist on his own turf. He's like, my only loss was to a dragon, and I beat the shit out of the dragon in the rematch. He's like, I'm definitely about to fold you. And that's when we see Deadpool go, oh shit, yo, Gambit, I need your help. And shit's about to get bad. So Deadpool's waiting for Gambit to come home. And when he does, Gambit sees Deadpool. He's like, yo, what's wrong? And Deadpool's like, yo, you don't understand the shit I went through tonight. He's like, that fat businessman popped up and his name was Fat Cobra. And he said, not only did he beat my ass, he beat my ass in the most fancy way possible. He was like, this dude was just tearing me apart. And he's like, the worst part, while I was getting sauced on and humiliated, he was like, it's literally the worst I've ever been beat up. Because at one point he's like, dude, I'm Deadpool, I'm not really Steve Zahn. Because his Fat Cobra thought he was Steve Zahn. And he was like, I'm not Steve Zahn. I'm Deadpool. I'm the monster in every book. I've killed the Hulk, all that shit. And he's battling him, gets sauced on, right? And Fat Cobra eventually, he's like, I'm tired of beating you up. I'm going to kill you. And Deadpool's like, per the Marvel Wiki, I should be healing way better than I am. But I'm not. This shit sucks. And he was just left to be sore and in pain and heal in a weird fashion. His powers were messed up. And Gambit's like, dude, I'm sorry that sucks for you, my boy, but like, my story sucks too. And Deadpool's like, what are you talking about? And he's like, my powers went wrong too. So as you guys know, Gambit loves sleeping around, conning, all that shit. So he's sleeping with a girl, and his powers go wrong, and he accidentally uses his kinetic powers on her. So her arm is charging up, and he's like, oh my god, I might kill this random hoe. So he's scrambling to like save her. Now, worst part about this girl, right? She's connected to Fat Cobra. So her arm ends up detonating. She's bleeding everywhere. Gambit has to take her to the hospital. And when Fat Cobra shows up, he's like, where's the dude that did this? I'm going to kill him. Gambit's like, dude, I don't have time for this shit. Dips, right? While he dips, he's getting chased by that ninja girl that works with Fat Cobra. And he's like, dude, I don't have time for this. Hits her with the ankle breaker and gets out of there, right? And so they're hanging out at this point, just going over how bad their life has sucked recently. And they're like, dude, what is this all tied to? Because Gambit later realized he couldn't control his power anymore. So they're like, what's the root of all this? And that's when Gambit's like, dude, and they took this flight and everything. And Gambit was like, dude, I realized it. He's like, do you remember the Scrambler? And Deadpool's like, who's Scrambler? To do with the egg powers? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, Scrambler, the mutant that can literally mess with your powers. Basically, they sold Swampland that belonged to Man-Thing, which obviously is a bad idea because it's enchanted, plus it's like the nexus of realities. They sold it to the Scrambler, right? And then it goes into this big montage explaining the Scrambler's backstory. His powers can mess up systems in general, so not only can he mess up your powers, he could also mess up your system, like your respiration system, respiratory. I mean, goddamn, that was a dumb statement, but you know what I mean. He can mess up anything, any kind of function. And this goes on to kind of explain his villain story. Like he had a horrible childhood. He was in the system for a long time. He lost both hands, had to get replacement hands, all this. And he basically accepted his role as a villain, right? He's like, you know what? Life sucks. I'm just going to be a villain. And at one point, he's talking to his lawyer about this villain shit, and he's trying to read the legal papers, right? Now, before we continue with the story of this character, Scrambler, I do want to double back and just confirm a couple things that happened before this, because this issue is almost primarily about Scrambler's backstory, right? So before that happens, Fat Cobra arrives again, and Deadpool and Gambit are like, dude, we don't want to fight you. Like, they had just shown up at this bad guys party looking for Chalmers and shit and doing other things. Gambit ends up fighting all the bad guys, and he's surviving. But they're like, yo, we've been through a bunch of shit. They even fought... And it was funny. Deadpool goes there, but not to back him up, right? Because Deadpool's still hurting, still suffering from the healing factor woes. And so when he told Gambit he's going to back him up or go with him, Gambit's like, are you backing me up or are you just going because you don't trust me? And Deadpool's like, dude, don't be absurd. I clearly am in no shape to help you. So he's just going because he doesn't trust Gambit. So he's there, and he's just observing the scene. And he's like, the pretty boys never learn their lessons, and they always win. Gambit does clutch the W. Even when Absorbing Man absorbs a hot dog and becomes Wiener Man, he still defeats Wiener Man, right? So shout out to W's in the chat for Gambit beating all these villains. They get the Fat Cobra, and Fat Cobra's like, dude, I don't have beef with y'all anymore for two reasons. One, Gambit, that girl he saved, basically was a student of Fat Cobra. Two, Deadpool survived death at the hands of Fat Cobra, which he found impressive. And he was like, it's even more impressive that you like beefed with that Hulk. And Deadpool was like, dude, I didn't kill a Hulk. And it was like a C-list Hulk. That shit doesn't count. And so they agreed to be friends again. And Fat Cobra's like, I need my dragon tongue back. So he grants Deadpool the power of the Iron Fist. And he's like, go get my shit back. If you do, we're good. If you don't, I kill you. And so Deadpool is now the Iron Fist. W's in the chat for Iron Fist. The new one, that is Deadpool or Dead Fist, whatever you want to call him. Now, moving on, like I said, there was a Scrambler story. Eventually, he signs a contract for Swampland. He unscrambles the contract to kind of understand it, and he was unscrambling a Norse rune. And this was when Loki appears. And Loki's like, I've been coordinating this entire story. I've been Chalmers, Khan, other characters. He's like, sign this, I'll make your dreams come true. You don't have to be what you've been your whole life. All this shit. So at this point, he's trying, Loki, who's been completely manipulating this story, is trying to hustle and get some of this land from that boy Scrambler. By the way, for those that like power scaling, there's some pretty dope scaling in here in which Deadpool is explaining the tree of Yggdrasil, which includes containing beings like Living Tribunal. And he's talking about the tree, how it's important. Turns out there's a tree on Earth that's connected to Yggdrasil. It's like a projection of it, right? So at this point, the gods are getting involved. They think that Kunlun is messing with Asgard, messing with this tree. Because at this point, Deadpool, Gambit, Fat Cobra, they pull up on the tree. They're like, if we get rid of this, Chalmers and stuff, we'll figure out what he's hiding from us. So they pull up, And when Chalmers gets there and stuff, we see he gets found and made for two reasons. One, Scrambler pulls up. Scrambler snitches and is like, Chalmers is Loki. And then we see on the other side, we get an amazing fight between Chalmers and Dead Fist, right? Because Deadpool, while explaining all this, he's like, look, I have this connection to Chi now because I'm the Iron Fist. Pulls up on Chalmers. They get to scrapping, right? Like I said, I did just tell you Chalmers is Loki, but at this point, Deadpool doesn't know that. He's fighting Chalmers. He's like, dude, how is this old man so, like, capable of martial arts? At this point, Deadpool's literally pulling apart comic panels to block Chalmers, who's cutting through and destroying speech bubbles and stuff. A lot of good metafiction scaling right there. But anyways, getting back to this, they kind of stalemate. Gambit tells them to stop, right? This is when we see that people have been watching, including Odin, and he dispatches the Warriors 3 to figure out what the hell's going on and who's attacking that tree. They pull up, and Fat Cobra's like, oh, look, emissaries of Asgard. And they pull up on Fat Cobra, and they're like, look, we're about to pull up on you as agents of Asgard because Kunlun has disrespected us now. And Fat Cobra's like, bro, we can beef whenever. Like, Fat Cobra will fight anyone. And he's like, you better relax before I put hands on you. It's this point when we see kind of all the big plans be revealed. And at this point, they're going back and forth. The fight already occurred. Gambit sees Scrambler, charges up Deadpool or Dead Fist, and throws him at Scrambler, knocks out Scrambler, which allows Gambit to get his full power back under complete control, right? We see the Warriors 3 pull up on Fat Cobra, and that shit does not go well for them. They start getting beat up instantly by Fat Cobra. They're like, oh shit, this dude is a monster. And finally, when Scrambler wakes up, like I said, he blows the cover of Loki. And Odin, all them, they're like, yo, Loki's there? Loki reveals himself. And they're like, Loki, why are you trying to organize this weird-ass beef with the swampland that was purchased, this tree here? Like, what are you doing? And because at this point, if they mess with this tree and Yggdrasil is compromised, even burning a branch can collapse heavens. Loki's like, first of all, I don't expect y'all to understand a god tier plan like mine. But he's like, secondly, if everything would have fell, I get credited with this god land here and everyone can live here. And they're like, dude, that's ridiculous. So at this point, the Asgardians are forced to apologize to Fat Cobra because they embarrassed themselves. And they take away Loki to be judged for nearly collapsing heavens. And crazy enough, it was Deadpool or Dead Fist and Gambit that blew his cover and stopped his plan. And he's like, yo, how did these two idiots stop my god tier plan? And Deadpool's like, bro, I just ball out. Like, you know the vibes. Like, I'm just doing what I do. After this mission, of course, everything concludes. Deadpool loses the Iron Fist power because he got the Dragon Tongue back. This, of course, happened when Gambit pickpocketed it off Loki. And everything's good for them. And they're like, dude, I can't believe we beefed. All these schemes went crazy. And they're like, well, you know what? We ran schemes with the goddess schemes. So that makes us god tier schemers, which is facts. And the story ends with Scrambler ending up getting that land that they bought in the first place. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Like I said, this wasn't a conventional Deadpool versus Gambit. Between those two, Gambit did far better in this story than Deadpool. Although his Dead Fist moments were pretty dope, but Deadpool also took a lot of L's, so Gambit was more of a W magnet in this run, but it was a hilarious beef story, and Deadpool and Gambit did end up winning their beef with Loki technically, so shout out to them for the W. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons. Let me know what beefs you want to see on the channel, and if you want to purchase one, let me know and hit me up on Discord. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Peace. Alright, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Jobbers and Goons. Super excited for this because we are starting a new series called The Beef. The Beef is a series where I take a fictional beef, whether comics, manga, or other things, analyze it, commentate the story, what goes down, how the beef starts, ends, all this shit. Give my, funny take on it, all this. And overall, give you guys a sense of the story, the background of the beef, and sometimes you guys don't even know these beefs actually happen. To qualify for a beef, it's got to be, usually it has to have at least like one story arc, and they have to have fought more than once. And it can't be just like some random encounter. That's not a beef. I'm talking about something that actually was story based and like had a narrative to it. So with that in mind, my Moon Knight video did very well. So I decided to cover one of his beefs in comics first, which is him versus Deadpool. I will be analyzing the first time they ever had beef in comics. And if you want to see a part 2, because they did go at it again later in comics, run the likes up. We hit 600 likes, and I will happily bring it back in the beef series. I hope you guys enjoy this. Check out the coffee shop, my second channel. I'll be posting battles like Aizen versus Palpatine over there soon. As well as if you want to see your favorite character shown in a Job or a Goon series, if you want to see anything in the beef series, hit me up on Discord. We can discuss prices for videos, as well as all my scans to these beef videos in the beef series will be in my public Discord server, so make sure to check that out. But I'm not going to waste any more time. I hope you guys enjoy this, and without further ado, let's begin. So this beef takes place between two legendary hooligans in Marvel Comics, Moon Knight versus Deadpool. I'm going to kind of build the scene to the story and then walk you through it. I hope you guys enjoy. Again, this is a start to the new series, The Beef. Now, this beef in particular takes place in, I believe it's called Revenge of the Moon Knight. That is the storyline for 2010. And this kicked off, I think, in either issue 6 or 7 after one storyline with Moon Knight in which one of his ops is Norman Osborn, famously known as Green Goblin. Y'all know him. He's had several Goon videos, actually, on my channel. And basically, when Mark Spector, a.k.a. Moon Knight, was beefing with Osborn, Osborn knew about his murderous side that was fueled by visions of Khonshu, the Egyptian god of revenge. And he took this and basically went on a bad PR run against Moon Knight, causing Moon Knight to have to fake Mark Spector's death and move away. When he did, eventually he brought up the identity of Jake Lockley, Lockley, I think it's Lockley, moved back and took up Moon Knight mantle once again, but this time he's mellowed out. Like, he's not killing anymore. He's a lot more chill, not wilding out, anything like that. And it's a lot different from what's usual, but he is still a hero and protector of those who walk at night. This is at the point we are introduced to the beef, okay? So Moon Knight awakens to get an alert. The alert tells him that at the Mount Sinai hospital, there's been a break-in. And when he goes to check the screen, he sees like a bloody handprint. He's like, fuck that. I'm pulling up. No one disrespects me. Pulls up on my hood, especially at the hospital, and just like folds people. You don't do that shit. So Moon Knight dons his gear, pulls up, right? Gets to the hospital, hops out, goes inside, and notices and gets an alert from Frenchie, his butler, basically the Alfred ripoff, and goes, yo, like, that's a slice of pizza in there. And Moon Knight's like, okay, this shit's kind of weird, but we're going to let it slide. Goes inside, notices instantly that the people that have been taken down inside the hospital are unconscious. They weren't killed. So clearly this isn't someone just going on a mindless, brutal slaughter. This is someone that's to some degree actually being pretty calculated. So Moon Knight's like, okay, this shit's weird, but whatever, we're going to keep it moving. So he's walking through, he's seeing the chaos and carnage. Finally, he gets to a door after not seeing any attackers and being like, okay, this is where someone just went in. Kicks it open and sees Deadpool, who is holding a gun to an old man patient's head and is like, bruh, he started it. Moon Knight's like, what the fuck? And Moon Knight he pulls out crescent darts, throws them at Deadpool, right? And hits him. He disarms him. He actually rocks him before he can fire at the old man. And that's when he engages with Deadpool. The two go back and forth. Deadpool knocks him over and he's like, dude, don't mess with me when I'm working. I'm trying to chase a bag. You're making me fumble it. I don't need this kind of pressure in my life. You know, I'm just trying to make a play. And Moon Knight's like, dude, you can't just pull up and blow the brains out of old patients. Like, that's not what you do. You're trying to just massacre old men that can't fight back in the hospital. We're not letting that shit slide. He's like, all right, bet, bitch. They start going back and forth, right? Moon Knight rocks him. Like, I'm talking, lands a solid ass hit. And Deadpool's like, yo, that Jackie Chan shit, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of dope. Like, those, you know, kung fu style moves you're using, it was dope. But I was holding back. I wasn't taking you serious. You showed up in like that all white outfit. It was weird and awkward. Wasn't feeling the vibes, so didn't respect you. So now I'll actually square up since I'm not distracted or anything like that. So at this point, Deadpool's basically saying he wasn't actually trying against Moon Knight in this fight because he was getting his ass beat. A nurse shows up showing her cleavage. Deadpool immediately gets distracted. I'm talking about instantly was distracted. But of course, Moon Knight, being who he is, doesn't get distracted in moments like these. He's all about the bag and the fade. Runs up on Deadpool and absolutely rocks him in his shit. Punches him so hard that Deadpool flies out of a window and is BFR'd in the fight, ending the first encounter. So during that fight, right, between Moon Knight and Deadpool, the first scrap, Deadpool was talking shit and said some things that kind of made Moon Knight realize, okay, things might not be as simple as they seem. So he goes and investigates the mobster, right? Well, who we find out to be a mobster. This was the old man Deadpool almost popped. He finds out this dude is one of the worst people in the city. This is a guy beefs with everybody. Several illegal trade operations he runs, connected underground, and he kidnaps the children of his ops and oftentimes straight up murks them to get back at his ops or send messages like, yo, don't mess with us, dog, we'll run your shit. Tier 4 goon, this random guy, right? He's a horrible person. So Moon Knight's like, yo, did turning soft like make me an idiot? Like, am I a shitty hero? Cause I low-key just saved one of the worst people ever from a fade he deserved. So he starts kind of tripping about this. And it pans over to Deadpool meeting with the girl that hired him, right? And she's like, hey, did you put a bullet in that old bitch's head? And he's like, nah, dog. Ain't even gonna hold you. Ran into some bitch wearing all white. And he was kind of saucy with it. So we got into a scrap and I was not able to fulfill the contract. And he's like, yo, that old man you're beefing with, like, he has like stage 4 cancer. Like, his bitch ass is gonna die. I know he's horrible, but he's dying. Like, don't you want him to just die? And we see this lady, one of her relatives, one of her loved ones, was murdered at the hands of this old man. And she was like, damn that. I want to see his bitch ass get murked. I don't want to see him go out the natural way. I want his ass taken out. I want to smoke his ashes tonight. Deadpool was looking at her and was like, huh, this bitch is mad and I respect it. He was like, yo, you want his fade? 100% respect that. I'm going to go catch the body for you. Mad respect for keeping it real. And it was one of the few times, you don't typically see Deadpool even semi-serious, but he respected where the lady was coming from and he was like, yeah, I'll go catch the body for him. So Deadpool's out and about. Moon Knight runs into him. Moon Knight's like, yo, I understand, like, this guy's a piece of shit. He deserves whatever he gets, but you're not going to kill him. Like, I'm not going to let you just kill the guy. We're not God. Like, we don't pull the trigger like that anymore. And Deadpool's like, yo, in the streets, they said Moon Knight was a real one. He's like, bro, you go down the block, they used to say you were the shit. Like, what the fuck happened? He's like, you're kind of a bitch now. You don't have no gonads no more. Like, you don't pull up. You're not with that shit no more. Moon Knight's like, bro, like, look, I'm just saying you're not gonna kill him. Like, relax. Like, that's not our call to make, even if you think I'm soft. And Deadpool was like, yeah, you're definitely a soft-ass bitch. Like, Deadpool was talking greasy, and he kind of had a point. He was like, yo, you're kind of tripping on this. Turn the other cheek and let me, like just look the other way. I'm going to pull the trigger. This dude's horrible. And he's like, yo, when I look into the abyss, I laugh. When you look into the abyss, Moon Knight, you get scared. And I was like, damn, Deadpool definitely won the verbal exchange. Let me know in the live chat who you think won the verbal exchange. Personally, I got to side with Deadpool at this moment. But we see at this point that Moon Knight has decided to go save the kids to kind of redeem himself for saving that bastard of an old man. So he runs off to the warehouse where this kid of the op of the old man is being held. Pulls up on them. And they're like, yo, they're talking to each other. They're like, yo, I don't care if the boss is asleep. Let's just murk this kid and take him out. Like, I know what we got to do. And Moon Knight pulls up and is like, I know what's probably going to kill you tonight, bitch. And starts beating the shit out of everybody. And eventually, as he's folding them, walking through them, because, you know, they're bum-ass bitches, he pulls up on the last one. He's like, bro, you tried to kidnap this kid, put him in the dirt for some beef. You're a bitch, all this. Dude surrenders, right? He's like, I don't want no beef. I recognize now you're built different and all that shit. And Moon Knight's like, okay, you know what? You got bitched. All your boys got folded. You saw them get beat the fuck up. I think you're redeemed. I'm not going to beat you up anymore. Like, I'm going to let you go. It's cool, you know, whatever. I'm not as crazy as I used to be. However, a few moments later, he saw the face of the young man, and he saw a massive imprint of a hand. Like, someone had been beating the shit out of the kid. Moon Knight turns around and is like, never mind, bitch. You get folded tonight. And beat the shit out of that guy for putting hands on the kid. And he takes the kid and he's like, come on, buddy. Like, I'm going to get you out of here. We don't have to deal with all this. And they decide to dip. So Moon Knight takes the kid to the hospital. You know, he's like, all right, you know, I saved the kid. Did a little bit of good to rectify my wrongs. But he's sitting there and he's like, man, I wonder if what that discount Spider-Man said about the Abyss, I wonder if that shit was true. Like, am I tripping? Let me know in the live comments down below if you think Deadpool looks like a discount welfare Spider-Man. That was the belief of Moon Knight. Kind of a solid roast in my opinion. You let me know in the comments. But yeah, he said that shit. He's over here contemplating being big-brained when suddenly he gets cheap-shotted by Deadpool. That's right. Deadpool runs up on him from behind, rocks the shit out of him, and he's like, yeah, dumb bitch. I just hit you off guard like you hit me. Sorry about that, bitch. And Deadpool's definitely bringing the energy at the start of this next round, which is lit. Now, Moon Knight starts falling off this big-ass building he was perched up on because, you know, he be on that fucking Batman shit. And Deadpool's like, yo, look at this bitch falling. This is going to be an easy W. He starts dropping down to meet Moon Knight at the bottom to fight him. Because Moon Knight is slowing his fall, does use his gadgets, eventually does slow the fall, lands decently. And Deadpool drops down and is like, yo, not gonna lie to you, dog, like that landing was kind of tough, my boy. Like, you're kind of athletic. They start scrapping a bit, but eventually Deadpool, he's still talking his shit, rocks Moon Knight, launching him back, sending him through the front door of a funhouse at a carnival and proceeding to lead to a big ass brawl inside that carnival funhouse. Before we continue, smash the like button, of course, if you haven't done it yet, and let me know in the comment section real quick, who do you think will win between these two in this fight to conclude the beef in this story? This is the final battle between the two. Who are you pulling for? Who do you think will win? Let me know in the live chat right now if you haven't read the story, and let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're wrong about the outcome, respond back to your own comment. That'd be pretty funny. But anyways, getting into this. So these two start fighting inside the mirrors of the funhouse, right? And at first, Deadpool's holding the edge. Deadpool's talking his shit. He's like, you're crazy as fuck. You do this, you do that. You're dumb as shit. You keep tripping. All these things. And by the way, something that's pretty interesting in this story, Moon Knight and Deadpool can hear each other's thoughts. Apparently, they're both so crazy, they can hear the several voices between each other that goes on inside their heads. But anyways, returning to this, Moon Knight, Deadpool are fighting. Moon Knight's getting his hits in. Deadpool's getting his hits in. Moon Knight goes for another hit, rocks him, and Deadpool's like, look, bitch. It's like some cute-ass moves you're using, like you're fighting pretty well, but, you know, you clearly didn't read the scouting report. Like, I regenerate, I'm basically unkillable, talking all this wild shit, right? That's when we see Moon Knight go, wait, you said you're unkillable? Like, you won't die if I fuck you up? And then he was like, yeah, I won't die. And Moon Knight proceeds to start beating the shit out of him. I'm talking about, he was fucking up Deadpool so bad, slashing him, brutalizing him so bad that you literally see Deadpool go, uncle, like he was like, dude, stop. Moon Knight beat the shit out of him, left him in literal shreds, in shambles, once he realized he didn't have to hold back on Deadpool because he wasn't going to kill him. So he absolutely manhandled Deadpool once he wasn't holding back. So we see the lady then go to Deadpool later and be like, yo, can you kill the old man? Are you going to finish the job? And he was like, look, dog, ran to the white White Knight guy, Moon Knight, whatever the fuck his name is. That's how, because Deadpool's messed up at this point. And he's like, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for me to try to kill that guy right now. You know, I kind of got my ass beat. Don't really want to do it. And to be honest, I'm indisposed. And we see his body, and it's shredded. Like, looks like it just all recently got stitched back together. Like, Moon Knight clearly beat the shit out of him. So she's like, all right, whatever. This lady decides to infiltrate the hospital, handle it herself. She poses as a nurse, gets inside the hospital, and gets inside the old man's room, right? And she starts talking her shit. She's like, you ruined my life, killed a loved one. I just want you to know that I folded you, bitch. Like, I came back. I got revenge for my people. Fuck you. You got styled on, bitch. She's saying, basically turned into an Xbox Live party. Like, it was brutal. She was talking her shit. And she kills the old man, poisons him, sticks a needle in him, and he's killed. And we see that Moon Knight was outside the hospital window where this death occurred, and he refused to step in and decided to let the old man die. While he didn't kill him, he agreed. This time, that old man had to go. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching this episode of The Beef. So, for part 1 of Moon Knight vs. Deadpool, hopefully we get a part 2 if we hit the like goal. I found this beef interesting. Didn't expect Moon Knight to beat the shit out of Deadpool, but he did. In this beef, I felt myself more so siding with Deadpool throughout the exchange. Like, I thought Deadpool was in the right, but Moon Knight ends up clutching the W and winning the dispute between these two in part 1 and in this story in the comics. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think of the new series. Let me know what you want to see in the new series, like which beefs you want to see covered. And more importantly, if you want to actually just go ahead and make sure a beef you love is covered, hit me up on Discord and go ahead and purchase it. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I will see y'all later. Moon Knight takes a W, so Moon Knight fans, clutch the win. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Peace. What's going on, everybody? What a way to get back into regular programming on the channel than with beef videos, right? If you don't know, my beef series is centered on a storyline where at least 2 characters have some real beef and shit gets wild, and we talk about the beef. I go over the story, give you my breakdown, and then we discuss who we think won the beef at the end. But If you guys are a fan of my content, run the likes up. If you get this to like 300 likes, I'll drop another beef video. If you haven't subscribed yet, that would be amazing, as well as check out my second channel, The Coffee Shop. I just scaled Capcom and Marvel over there, so definitely check that out. And to all those already subscribed and showing love, I appreciate you so much. And if you want to purchase a video, hit me up on Discord. It's only $20 to see your favorite character on either channel, as well as you can join my Discord server. It's absolutely free and I hang out there every day. But without further ado, let's get into the beef. This beef is one of the craziest I've ever covered. This is Ash Williams versus Freddy Krueger, aka Nightmare Warriors. Now, you see Jason in the thumbnail as well, and he looks a lot bigger. That's because Jason is indeed involved in the storyline and works for Freddy for most of the junction. So, getting into this, we see that Jason is being resurrected, right? We see a voice is appearing to him. He's hearing something. He's starting to rise again. This is not good for mankind because Jason rising means shit's about to go down. Like, let's be honest, Jason Voorhees waking up is not something you want to see on your Tuesday schedule. But because of something being read in the Necronomicon, he is rising. Now, Ash Williams had previously defeated Jason and Freddy. The form speaking to Jason explains to him, he's like, yo, you gotta get your get back, you gotta finish this, because Ash has a special soul. We can't let him cook, he's special. And this voice also tells Jason, like, yo, you can track whoever you want. You're really the go to this killing shit. Like, go ahead, go out and cook. So he dips to get buckets. That's the mentality. We then flip over to this special unit investigating, right? They're on the scene and they're here with the purpose of recovering the Necronomicon. An officer remarks that Jason is likely the best weapon available anyways that anyone could use. But his superior, a very wise officer, says that is false. And he's like, the book in there that we're trying to retrieve is a separate beast entirely. It leads to an entire different reality and world. We then flip over to see underwater. As you guys could have assumed, Jason's rising. The divers that go under there to find him, they get jumped by the boy, and he's absolutely massive and tears them apart. Jason then proceeds to blitz up from the boat from outside of the water. Don't know how he did this. We're just going to chalk it up to he's a D1 athlete. And he tears apart everybody on the boat, just completely dismantling them and eating bullets as he slashes away. We then see Jason tank a mini shock rocket barrage designed to actually take him down based on prior readings. He's also smart enough to, when he's battling these officers, he's like, alright, I'm sick of this shit. And he manages to throw them in the water knowing that the electricity from the shock barrage would get to them. And of course, it's fatal, and he rips through the rest in his pursuit for vengeance. We also see, after he's finishing going on this massacre of the people on the boats, the voice summoning him and talking to him was indeed the voice of his mom. At least that's what it appears to be at the time, and appears to be the driving force behind his current actions. We then flip over to Big Ash Williams, right? A goon in his own right. Comment down below if you want to see him in a goon video, by the way. But Ash, he, like I said, had beat Freddy and Jason before. He did this shit half a year ago. Since then, he's like, you know what? Hunting demons, balling out, fighting the Necronomicon, defeating Jason, Freddy, all this hood rat shit. It's exhausting. I think I'm gonna retire. I'm gonna be honest. 100% see where he's coming from. Like, dude, fuck that life. I wouldn't want to do what he was doing anyway. However, of course, because the plot demands it, the government shows up at Ash's door. He's like, what do you hoes want? And they're like, yo, You are a supernatural focal point, and you're going to be key to this investigation. We then pan over to seeing the officer reading through the Necronomicon as Ash is brought in. And we see the Necronomicon notes say it's considered boundless. Beings with power like Freddy, who is shown in the book, can change the physical world just through sheer will alone. Which goes to touch on, Freddy's casually a reality warper. Freddy then reality warped to troll Ash himself and let him know he was back. He let him know the vibes. He was like, yo, Ash, I'm back for the smoke, pussy. Let's run the ones again. And this really is like the catalyst for the beef. Because Ash is like, okay, I'm not getting called out like that. It's time to pull up. Now, Freddy is the key to controlling both what is real and what is dream. Through him and the Necronomicon, this all can be achieved. Like, basically, through Freddy's power, you can control what's real and not real. It's incredible. And they're going to try to take advantage of Freddy, who had been defeated. We see, panning over, this is a wild-ass comic, it throws you everywhere. Jason is ripping through people like paper, right? Like, he's on this OD kill spree, and he's like, yo, these people are bums, let me get them out of here, and he's just folding people. It's quite horrific. We see, in an interview with the supposedly depowered Freddy, the officer is like, yo, we have a verse with Ash Williams, the Necronomicon, demons, Deadites, Jason Voorhees, but you, Mr. Krueger, you were the scariest in the verse. And Krueger's like, relax, dog. Like, you don't have to gas me up this bad. But that's facts, though. But yeah, interesting to see that they thought Freddy was by far the scariest. We then see in a discussion between agents that Freddy had mastered the dreaming. That's right. Not only did he have the power of the dreaming, which if you know anything about Freddy, he's demonstrated many times before how potent his warping is, but he's completely mastered it at this point. We then see a discussion being had about both Freddy and Jason that's very interesting for the story. For one, it appears Jason actually has the ability to possess people, or at least make them do what he wants them to do without them knowing. Basically, you subconsciously obey his will. And we also see that Freddy basically has negged the many different ways of death in the physical world. Like, when it comes to physical L's, Freddy's taking it, and he's built for that shit. Because of this, and they're all discussing this with the boy Ash Williams, who of course is in the cut now, they're like, yo, the only way I think we can beat him and beat both of them is to get the Necronomicon and put them down with that book. That book is the key to victory. We then see, unfortunately for his ops, Freddy reveals that not only is he a master of the dreaming, he has mastered the usage of the fabled Necronomicon. Big deal for his ops. Freddy potentially has the ball in his court now with everybody in check. This could be bad. We see that Freddy is especially pissed off at this point because when he took that L, he had to spend his time in a pocket dimension basically being endlessly tortured. So at this point, he just wants to get in the mix, right? Like, he's like, yo, I'm pissed I've been tortured this long. Let's get these buckets. He's talking to the spirit of Jason and Jason himself, and he's like, listen, Jason, we might beef in some storylines, but not this one, baby. And he's like, you're going to work for me. I'm going to summon you, and I'm going to let you cook how you want to. He makes Jason his servant and his general, revives him, and amps him with some of the power of the Necronomicon. Really forming a super team at this point. He's trying to pay to play, basically. Now, in confronting the agents during interrogation when they think Freddy's still depowered, he reveals he's not. He's like, you bums, I've absorbed the Necronomicon. He's like, I know all the demonic passages, all the runes. He's like, I don't need my claws anymore. That's just the shit that scares you. But now that I've absorbed the Necronomicon, we can do whatever. We can beef on any level. We then see he reveals his daughter actually works with him. That's right, she's been a double agent this whole time. And in disgusting fashion, because it's a horror movie and based on the horror movie, Freddy, of course, made his daughter to basically be like his bitch as well, which is disgusting. And he's like, yo, I'm on my demon shit. I'm on my demon grind. I'm doing demon things y'all don't like. That makes you uncomfortable. And he's like, that's how I'm going to get the W. I'm basically a god now. And everybody freaks out because they're like, oh shit. It's basically revealed Freddy is ascended now. Like he's a lot. This is a different ballgame. We see Ash at this point making a play for the Necronomicon, right? Like he's pulling up. He's like, yo, I got to get the book. And he runs into a Deadite. This Deadite doesn't know the resume of Big Ash Williams. Gets one-shotted with a punch. He's like, get off me, bitch. And he's like, yo, I'm the main character. You know the vibes. You can't one-shot me. And just fucks up the Deadite. He then gets slashed and jumped by a massive Freddy-like android/cyborg robot. It's really weird. And despite getting jumped by this massive robot, Ash is like, yo, let's run the ones, bitch. Ends up clutching the W on this robot. That's right. Ash Williams is the biggest of steppers. Like, it's crazy. We then see pan over to Jason. And Jason's basically leading an assault on humanity. Main location, America. And we see not only is he being powered by the Necronomicon, but he's always, to some degree, had the power of the Necronomicon, which is interesting. Jason then leads a team against Washington. You can argue at this point he kills souls because it's stated even the basic Deadites in the army are consuming souls every time they kill. We see Freddy, it's revealed to Ash that like Freddy has dealt with all forms of removal and torture and killing. Like there's no way to bop on him in the physical world. He's just gonna come back. There's no sense in it. And Ash Williams is like, oh my god, this is this is turning into a very complicated beat for me. We then see that complete healing can be done with dream power, but this does come at a cost. However, Freddy doesn't give a shit. Freddy spams this whenever he wants and does it all the time. And Freddy also says and brags that he could body all of them at this point, but he's just playing with them. Like he's just trying to troll at this point, which is a bad idea. Don't troll my boy Ash. But yeah, he's like, yo, I'm just trolling y'all at this point. I could actually body. We then see Freddy is planning to basically gather all the survivors to ever survive encounters with him. At this point, Freddy announces like, yo, I'm turning this whole world into one big Elm Street. I'm haunting everybody. I'm running everybody's pockets. Everybody's taking it out of me, bitch. And it pans over to Ash, and Ash is like, yo, we're not going out like this. He's like, we need to get the Necronomicon so we can go get buckets. Because if we don't, we're fucked. And that's big facts. Smash the like button, by the way, if you haven't already. So at this point, we see Freddy is using reality warping powers to make it rain blood. This is his method of scaring the shit out of everybody, and it's working for the most part on civilians and at all the casuals. We also see that Jason and his army of Deadites soloed the US military, bringing an end to their run as top powerhouses in the world, as they could not handle the Deadite drip. We then see a military strike is launched upon the White House to stop Freddy, and Freddy one-shots it with his reality warping powers. Basically, it appears as a massive flaming skull and blasts him. And it is once again confirmed that Deadites are consuming souls after murder. So like I said, this includes Jason, who's bodied several at this point. Ash shows in the squabble with all these Deadites that he casually scales above normal Deadites and bops them pretty easily. We then see that Freddy actually has the ability to look at your destiny itself and make it manifest to his liking. Basically has your future and your destiny manipulation, which is pretty crazy. We then see Jason tries to get a drop on Freddy, because as you know, Jason can only work for someone for so long, and Freddy casually ducked the blitz from Jason. We then see Freddy's daughter get in the mix, and Jason had to fight her off and tanked impalement. He was like, stupid bitch, I ain't scared to fight you, and pulls up ready to throw the ones. This is when everything's starting to fall apart for Freddy, right? Like, shit's just, he just lost his general, like, shit's getting weird. Jacob, the son of one of the major victims of Freddy, receives Dream Master power from his mom, and the souls of all the victims of Freddy ever come together to empower Jacob as he pulls up and he's like, yo, Freddy, you gotta get the hands. We then see Jason's pulling up on people, and Tommy Jarvis, longtime op, pulls up on Jason. He's like, yo, the scrap ends here, it's time to throw the ones. And he does throw the ones, with Jason actually somewhat holds his own. Freddy, when confronted by Dream Master Jacob, is like, oh shit, it's a lot to take in. And he's getting hit with all the souls, right? And then he's like, bro, I don't give a shit about your sob story, all these victims of the souls. Take this out. And Freddy stabs Jacob. Freddy instantly starts absorbing the souls again of the people that Jacob was using. And Ash has to run in. And Ash is like, yo, catch these hands and these vibes, pussy. And starts throwing hands with Freddy. It's actually super impressive. Ash was throwing hands with this Freddy, even broke his arm. We then see a flash over to the Jason 1v1 with Tommy Jarvis. And Tommy uses Jason's mom to mind hacks him and puts him down. Jason seems to have want to be with his mom, and this was the way to kill him. Basically, you get him thinking he's going to be with his mom. He's going to take the L. However, upon the L for Jason, his soul starts to be absorbed from Freddy. Freddy is like, yo, Jason's done a lot of hood rat shit. He's like, he's been marked in such a way that basically his soul is limitless power. Freddy then, in the usage of the Necronomicon, absorption of all the souls, and Jason's souls, states he's actually a duality itself. Like, there's nothing they can do at this point. He's the Alpha and Omega. He scales above everything. Now you're thinking, how would Freddy possibly fumble this bag? Let me tell you. He made a deal with the Necronomicon, basically saying, yo, everybody in the book balls out if y'all help me claim power and do what I need to do. However, Freddy, in pursuit of power, was being incredibly selfish, so the book retaliates. All the demons come out and all that. They're like, yo, you told us this was a team-up, but you're trying to solo. And he's like, nah, I'm trying to spread the bag. And they're like, no, you're not, dummy. They jump him and take his power, and just like that, Freddy's depowered. And he's like, oh, shit. And we think at that point that, like, Freddy died, right? Like, it's over with, he's done, because Ash pulls up with the shotgun and is like, take this out, pussy. And we see, it appears, and it's hinted at in the end, that Freddy, like, somehow time traveled or something, and completely survived the event despite being taken down. Absolutely nuts. But who do I think wins in this beef? Who do I think won the beef? Well, Freddy was balling out for most of the run. He was kind of manipulating everybody, playing the battlefield as he so pleased, but he fumbled the bag in spectacular fashion. And for that reason, I give Ash the victory. Shout out to the comeback W from Ash. And shout out to Freddy for fumbling the bag. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching this video. This is a wild beef. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, check out my content over on the Coffee Shop channel and all my members of the Coffee Shop. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Jobbers and Goons, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.